So the odds of Lyle and Eric Menendez getting out of prison go up and down faster than the stock market, it seems like. But now, and I know you've heard this before, those odds, they finally actually seem to be in the brothers' favor. We just heard from the LA District Attorney. Now I want to bring in Alexandra Kazarian. She is a senior trial attorney for Garagos and Garagos, which has been fighting for Lyle and Eric's freedom for years now. It's good to see you again, Alexandra. I heard you were laser focused while the district attorney was speaking. It seemed like he was kind of trying to downplay this latest decision by the judge, but it does seem like a pretty big win for you guys.
Oh, it's a huge win. And, you know, Mr. Hochman talks about ultimate justice, and ultimate justice in this case would be a manslaughter plea. If Mr. Hochman's office wanted to cut right to ultimate justice in this case, it would be, you know, agreeing that these boys should have initially been able to present a manslaughter conviction to the jury, which wasn't allowed. And that's the crux of the prima facie case here in the habeas. What the determination that Judge Ryan needs to make is there evidence that either wasn't available at the time that should have gone to the jury that would have changed their verdict? And what Mr. Hochman has wrong is that Leslie Abramson always, as part of her defense in this case, always argued that it was imperfect self-defense. That yes, the brothers killed their parents because they thought they were going to be killed, but an imperfect self-defense allows the jury to understand that they might have been wrong. Even though they were wrong in believing that they were going to be killed, they still believed it. And if they believed it and were wrong, it's not a complete self-defense, but it does lower the conviction from a murder to a manslaughter. And in their second trial, they were not allowed, the jury was not allowed to consider the manslaughter. They were not allowed to consider the imperfect self-defense. So the way that the sexual abuse plays into that is that because of the abuse by their parents, because of the father's sexual abuse, and because of their mother sanctioning this abuse, creating this hallway rule where adults and family members were not allowed to go down the hallway if one of the children was in the room with Jose, this terrible, terrible thing that both of these parents did. Because of that abuse, psychologically, these children were in fear of these parents and believed, even if it may have been incorrect on that day, that these parents were going to kill them and that the only way out was to kill them themselves. That is an imperfect self-defense. It wasn't allowed to go to the jury. Because of this new evidence, Judge Ryan has decided that it should be considered as to whether this murder conviction should stand.
So if he throws out the convictions, Alexandra, will you still have a parole hearing? Like, how does this all play out?
Each one is separate, so it really depends. That's a really, really hard question to answer because with the timing of it, we don't know exactly when this hearing is going to happen, if it's going to happen before the parole hearing. So that's just something that I don't have an answer to, and I really wish I could. And I know everybody wishes I could answer that.
Are you surprised? I mean, you know, these guys have served 29 years in prison. It's 29, right? 29 years total.
Well, I think they've been sentenced
we've seen the
for 29
documentaries.
years. They've been in custody, I think, close to 35.
Are you surprised that the district attorney is so passionate about this, it seems? I mean, he has really made it feels personal to him that he doesn't want them to get out.
It does. I understand wanting the integrity of a conviction to stay in place, but if it's not the right conviction, I don't know why you would argue against evidence of extreme sexual abuse. I mean, in this case, Jose Menendez is somebody who skirted justice his entire life, who people knew. The adults in the situation surrounding these poor brothers, they knew, and they didn't do anything. As a matter of fact, every single adult that found out about the abuse abandoned them. So these two boys were failed by everybody. So the fact that he wasn't brought to justice is the failure of the system here. And I think it's time that these two brothers did receive ultimate justice, which is the ability to live their lives.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.